Maybe he's been promised like an extra tapioca pudding and a fresh diaper change in exchange for a really good performance, which, I don't know, for him, I would say the bar is low. They're like, Joe, if you stand upright and you don't fall, you don't collapse on stage, and you don't drool on yourself, we'll give you an extra pudding. So I don't know. I keep watching Joe Biden in decline, rapidly declining, by the way. Even if you look at, we thought that he was bad when he was campaigning in 2019, but he's deteriorated. I mean, if you look at videos from him campaigning back then, he looks like bright. He looks with it. You want to talk about vigor? I mean, if you compare now versus then, he looks like he's got his stuff together back then, comparatively speaking. But I don't know. I'm told by people like Joe Scarborough on MSNBC that apparently my eyes deceived me. You know what? Biden is as sharp as ever now. Watch.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent.
Really?
He's far beyond cogent.
Okay.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
No.
Intellectually. Analytically. Okay. Because he's been around for 50 years.
Try 250.
You know, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used to be a hothead.
Sometimes
that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
There's never been truth told on this network.
Of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Oh, yeah. If it weren't the truth, Joe Scarborough wouldn't say it. Joe Scarborough has never told a lie. Joe Scarborough has never pushed the, Russian collusion lie. Joe Scarborough has oh, no. You only get truth from Joe Scarborough. Please, you can't handle the truth. Don't listen to Joe Scarborough. Shut up. We see what's right in front of us. Joe Biden is clearly declining. Joe Scarborough wants to say that Joe Biden is as sharp as ever. He's more than cogent because he used to be a hothead and couldn't control himself. He's still a hothead. He just has dementia. Like, two things can be true at once. He's still a hothead. That doesn't make him cogent or sharp as a tack or clearly better than he's ever been. Like, these people cannot actually believe these lies. There's no way that Joe Scarborough believes. I mean, maybe. I don't know. He's a pretty big idiot, so you never know with Joe Scarborough. But it's like, guys, you can't lie about this. We're watching it happen. So, I don't know. Hopefully Joe Biden doesn't collapse. But we know the night is going to be full of lies because what else is he supposed to do? What else is Joe Biden supposed to do? He can't give the real State of the Union because it all sucks. Like, there's nothing to brag about. There's no victory laps to be had. So make them up. That's the only thing you can do. So lie, make up victories that aren't there. And he's also expected to promote abortion rights and tout his, this is funny, they said he's expected to tout his economic record. What? This is what I'm talking about. His economic record sucks. People are struggling to make ends meet. And by the way, he just went out and gave this speech that he was making sure that credit card companies had to make their late fees lower. Why? Because everyone is using their credit cards. They're going into debt because they can't afford to live right now in Joe Biden's America. But it's okay. Call it Bidenomics and it'll be fine. He will, of course, tonight advocate for more of your taxpayer money to go directly to Ukraine, funnel it to Ukraine, and he will, I am sure, address illegal immigration, address the border crisis, not by taking responsibility, but by blaming the problem on Republicans. And of course, I would imagine we will hear the dangerous rhetoric of, ultra MAGA extremists, terrorists, all of these ultra MAGA extremists, these far right extremists, maybe bonus points for him talking about somehow mentioning January 6th and the threat to democracy. We almost lost democracy that day. Thank God we kept it, which, we don't have, but that's fine. So expected in attendance as guests of not Joe Biden, but House Speaker Mike Johnson are Riley Gaines, of course, the swimmer who lost to Leah William Thomas, Chloe Cole, a detransitioner. She has been on this show. She is now a fierce advocate against gender-affirming care. I should say gender-affirming care. Those of you who are listening, I'm doing the air quotes because we all, of course, know that that's not actually what it is. It's the opposite. Inez Freedom, the former NBA player who was canceled for speaking out against the NBA's ties to the CCP, along with victims of the October 7th Hamas massacre and victims of Biden's disastrous border policy, including parents of those killed by both fentanyl and illegal immigrants. So they're going to sit there. We're going to sit there watching. They're going to sit there right there listening to Biden lie. If he can manage to sling two words together, I would say that late in the game, in the day. But I want to play a video that Speaker Johnson released today. So you're going to hear these lies tonight. But here's a video showing the actual State of the Union.
My report is this: the State of the Union is strong.
You should come. Surge to the border.
Migrants surge across from Mexico.
Pushing resources to the limit.
Some of those thought part of the terror watch list.
Every state is a border state. Every city is a border city.
Sharp rise in the amount of drugs.
8,500 pounds of fentanyl.
Cartel controls everything that happens here.
America is at a breaking point.
Joe Biden is touting Bidenomics.
Bidenomics is working.
78% of voters view the economy negatively.
And that the president is to blame.
We're changing people's lives.
Unrelenting price increases.
Sticker shock is hitting millions of Americans hard.
The highest economic growth in 40 years.
The highest inflation rate, Mr. President, in 40 years.
I got that.
Crime is dominating the headlines.
Surge of violent smash and grab robberies.
24% more murders.
The buck stops with me.
The Middle East in flames. Israel has formally declared war.
The Taliban has returned to power.
Embassy shuttered. The flag coming down.
Vladimir Putin doesn't fear this president.
Xi Jinping told President Biden China will reunify with Taiwan.
Weakness invites aggression.
Appeasement has failed.
This open season on America.
The country has soured on Joe Biden.
The most vacation days taken by a president.
The White House in damage control.
Where is the president? Why isn't he communicating?
So, I mean, that's the truth, right? All of that is true. That's what's going on around you. And I know you know that because you're living in the world, right? And Joe Biden is going to go out there and he's going to lie tonight. But that is all true. And it is all infuriating when you watch this. It didn't have to be this way. But what is the Republican plan is what I'm asking, because, I appreciate the viral clip that you put out there on social media. I appreciate that Republicans are always like, we're going to go to this hearing and we're going to do this really big viral moment. And then we're going to clip it and then we're going to put it out on social media and it's going to get millions of views. But what are you actually doing about the state of things, right? Like, Joe Biden is the president, but you guys are also in charge. So what's the response? Like, how do we lead by example? Because it's important to criticize Joe Biden on his policies, but it's also important to lead by example. What are we doing? I still don't know, but Mike Johnson also tweeted out that he will continue the dumb tradition of pandering and playing identity politics by having dual State of the Union responses, one in English, one in Spanish. He tweeted out earlier, I'm pleased that Monica de la Cruz will be delivering the Spanish language address to the nation Thursday night as the first Hispanic woman and Republican to represent her district. Congresswoman de la Cruz's journey to Congress is nothing short of inspirational and encapsulates the very essence of what it means to live the American dream. Sadly, that dream is slipping away after 3 years of an open border, runaway inflation, and a nation inviting aggression and projecting weakness on a world stage. Now, the last part of that is true. But why do we, why? Why do we do this? I realize it's not the first Spanish response to the State of the Union, but it's just so gross to be like, we hate identity politics and pandering when it's the other side. But then when we do it, it's good. This is why it's good when we do it. There should, of course, only have one response. It should be in English, which, by the way, should be the official language of this country. And if they want a transcript or a translation, then fine. But you can't tell minorities they've been pandered to by the left while pandering to them. And I mean, we do it everywhere, right? We talk about, let's not play identity politics. The left plays identity politics. We don't want to play it. And then what do? We're talking about, well, Trump has to pick a woman or a black person like Tim Scott for vice president. He has to do that. Why? We don't need a Spanish response. Just do the one response in English and let people read it. And I don't know, maybe it'll encourage all of these newly released into the country illegal immigrants to learn English. I don't know. Maybe now they'll be like, I really need to learn English so I can hear what they're all saying. It's just so dumb and it's so weak and it's just so Republican because all of those words all go together. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.